progress from where we were a year ago, I think new challenges become visible as we move along. And these are things that private companies and technologies can't do on their own. You need to have a supportive regulatory environment, and there are times when you need the right governmental interventions. And we spoke about Mr. Oswald's indices, digital readiness index. So every time we want to compare ourselves with how we are faring compared to some of the other countries, and while we are continuing to make progress, the overall standards are actually increasing. So I think collectively it's incumbent upon us, many of the people in this room, from policymakers to media to practitioners, technology providers, operators and investors, that we start setting and continue to increase the benchmarks that we have set for ourselves. And there could be everything from internet affordability, which is both the access as well the initial purchase of a smartphone, the quality, speed, and expansiveness of the broadband network. The availability of spectrum is extremely important. It's been highlighted many times that Pakistan is one of the most spectrum-starved countries. How you make that spectrum available, at what mechanism, which includes the price and tenure of the allocation. And then again, I think the minister spoke about customs duties and various other duties, which are the basic initial barriers. And we want to make sure that our technologies and our access to internet is universal, is non-discriminatory between urban and rural, between genders. So there are a lot of new mountains that we have to climb. There are new peaks that we continue seeing. And it's really up to us, like I said, most of the people in this room, who are both the practitioners, the technology providers, and the governmental stakeholders who have to make it happen. So exciting times. We have certainly gone past Margila, I would say, when it comes to technology, but many bigger peaks challenging us.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Thanks for the encouragement on the mountains. If I now turn to say the software and IT industry, I refer to the massive community here that's contributing to the global economy, and maybe being held back a little bit. How do you see the software and IT industry as contributing to this story, the transformation agenda, and what are your constraints? Because you're part of this circle for Pakistan's strong digital economy.
First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody again here, and indeed grateful and honored to be allowed to sit here. So, IT tech industry is absolutely at the heart of the digital transformation skills. We need to be able to invest a lot of money in skill development of our youth. Extremely youth dependent, and for us, as far as the changing technologies concerned, new technologies are concerned, like blockchain, AI, etc., we need to invest a lot of money in upgrading our universities, our labs, and training our youth. If we can do these four things, there is absolutely no doubt that we can.
Positive. So to give Mr. Karam next. Amir talk about the regulatory environment, Sajid talk about telecoms and IT and enabling tools. From a policy or regulatory point of view, how do we improve investor confidence and unlock greater foreign direct investment in the Pakistan economy?
No, I think we've seen a lot of discussions and a lot of awareness around how the policies and their implications are now impacting the investors, and there is substantial progress there. But what we see, for example, from Telenor's own perspective, predictability in the spectrum policies, for example, predictability in the taxation. So those are some very key elements that when you're looking at a business case which is 10, 15 years, you need to be quite sure of how that's going, because the level of investments is humongous. People see the top line and they look at the billions of rupees that are coming in, but then the kind of investments that need to go in order to set up that infrastructure is usually hidden from the policymakers. So there is a need for us to sit together and then look at the entire investment, the whole ladder of where it begins and then how the revenues come in. So that can create an awareness in the policymakers. How do you ensure returns on those investments? So once you have that alignment, then you should start seeing things falling into place and decisions which support that kind of returns on investment.
It's a great point you raised, the predictability, being able to plan. You guys are all working with long-term business plans that can't flip and flop every year. It also raises the question about sustainability of investment, sustainability of the business. Amir, if I was to ask you, how do you go about balancing commercial sustainability with your leadership around digital inclusion and skills development? How do we bring it all together in a sustainable, generational, you could say, future?
Sure. So, telecoms have a longer time window when they look at returns on investment. It's a very capex-intensive industry. You have to invest in spectrum. So whenever an investor comes into a market, they look at least a 10 to 20-year horizon. Our licenses, our spectrum allocations are on a 15-year horizon. So certain blips within year to year do not discomfort most of the investors because they take a longer-term view in a country. And certainly somebody like us, Jazz, previously Mobilink, we've been here for the last 31 years, and we continue to be here however long we can. But there are opportunities and inflection points that make us redefine what business we're in. We started with telecommunications, and we are now a digital operator, which does many things in addition to just providing telecommunications. And in a GSMA, which is the parent organization of all the telecom operators, we've seen the transition in your organization also. It's gone beyond looking at what happens today, and you look at 4 years from now, you look at mobile financial services, you look at access, you look at new technologies. So same is the case for us. When we talk about sustainability, we now as an organization look at impact in the society that we operate in. It's no longer about minutes, messages, and gigabytes. It's more about creating moments and memories, and that happens on internet. So our commitment is to the country, to the people who need internet for their daily jobs, activities, whether it's learning, whether it is entertainment, whether it's commerce. So we have made a very different and a very conscious, intentional pivot from being a telecom operator to being a service co. And the reason why we call our service co is because we want to serve our customers regardless of the license we hold. And every time we get into that thing, we continue to redefine sustainability. And that sustainability is not just the telecom sustainability, it's sustainability of what we do and how we gain our relevance. And I think every business over a period of time goes through different inflection points. Telecom is no longer telecom, it's no longer a sector, it is a cross-sector enabler, and we have to really be relevant in all of the future sectors, whether it's going to be agriculture, commerce, education, finance. Each one of them will have a suffix of tech. So we have to make sure that our sustainability helps improve the other sectors also, and not as a standalone sector.
Well, thanks for that, Amir. I mean, that really shows Jazz as like going beyond the traditional telco space. And I think in a country like Pakistan, that's incredibly important to play a role much beyond the core infrastructure. But Khurram, if I was to ask you, you mentioned before about spectrum being a big issue for foreign investment. If I say, if you had those spectrum reforms and you could better support your investments, infrastructure investment, and you could start to talk about next generation infrastructure, how do you think that could play a role in the mobile industry supporting that broader landscape of innovation? Infrastructure is going to have to play, relying on that spectrum.
Active and aggressive discussion around the digital nation, digitizing economy, and bringing in those services. But all those time on a certain roadmap, you can plan ahead of what kind of spectrum would be available, because as the user demand begins to change, the network has to adapt to it, and more technologies to adapt. So that's one thing, having a known roadmap of a few years around what kind of spectrum. But one more on the connectivity side is the energy, the availability of power. If you look at the analysis of why there is less resilience, for example, in Pakistani networks, you would find more than 50% of the reason is this phenomena of rolling blackouts or load shedding and the power outages, which are not inherently telecom outages, but coming from the overall energy infrastructure. So I think there is a need to pay attention to that. So an improvement in the resilience of the power infrastructure will automatically translate into more robust networks, which then what these guys need in terms of making sure they have a certain quality of service towards their customers and the users of their services. So that is also a very important aspect to be discussed.
Thanks, Khurram. Sajjad, you've heard Amir talk about growing the business beyond traditional telco. Khurram talking about the importance of getting those core elements, infrastructure right. Tom, but then also for export.
Hello. So our industries are joined at one of the most symbiotic relationships that can. We are completely dependent on each other. We more so on you. So as far as the collaboration today goes, our tech industry for digital access, we absolutely need the telecom industry to be reliable, safe, and inexpensive. And almost all of our totally depend on you. Now, as far as the collaboration today, we are seeing that relationship. For instance, a lot of now investing in tech companies in terms of startups, in terms of putting up. What we need more is a lot of those tech companies investing and improving their infrastructure, making it more reliable, ensuring that they are secure. We would like our telco partners to invest a lot more in data centers, especially where AI work would be done. We see a lot of growth happening, and we all know it's no secret to anybody. Where that AI is the revolution is here. It's not going to come. It's just there. I see a lot of opportunity to work in the IoT space. We need now. That is one area which we believe a lot more work could be done within the country, and the use cases that we develop here can certainly be exported. So these are the 2 or 3 areas where, plus what telco companies have is a lot of data. And if we could together work with our startups, our young companies, our mature companies, and develop use cases on it that could then be globally used or marketed, that I think that would be great. Pakistan has a great advantage over others. We have 250 million people, so there's a lot of data which is out there. If you look at data we are not a data starved country. We have an issue using that data intelligently. So the data that resides with telcos, that resides with utilities, that resides with even some of our public sector entities, if we could utilize it all and develop use cases that our companies could develop, Pasha companies could develop, and then we could market those use cases globally, I believe that could be a very good use. And there are some very great examples of it. For instance, the utility sector, a lot of our companies have developed use cases using utility data in Pakistan. We have, for instance, power consumers, we have about 37 million people using power, who are the consumers of power. Now imagine putting up use cases around getting that data, and this number is more than the population of most countries. And if you get that data and develop technology and IT and technology around it, and then go and implement in other countries, that is an amazing market. Similarly, in terms of digitization, there's a massive project which is out there, which is having smart meters. Now here, the telco industry, the tech industry needs to work hand in glove to solve the power problem of this country. We absolutely have all the recipe intact. We make the meters, we make smart meters, we have the software tech, we have the infrastructure. But if we could work a lot more on collaboration, I think a lot more good work could be done to improve citizen services and our country. Thank you.
Thanks, Ajay. I'm not sure if that's a challenge. Not so. I think good call for collaboration. One thing, nobody's mentioned AI yet. I think it's not to say it's not here, but maybe, if I was talking about future readiness, future technology, obviously there's a lot of talk, a lot of people talking about 5G, IoT, AI, and we just mentioned, smart meters. The ingredients of a digital Pakistan seem to be visible in some places. How do you see Jazz as well in preparing emerging technologies, being part of that landscape, so that in the context of digital Pakistan's future?
I was waiting for that question because these days you can't go past any conference without talking about AI. But I think it's more than a buzzword, like it's been there for the last year and a half at a consumer level with ChatGPT. But it's gone up a lot further beyond that. Everybody talks about LLMs. And I think there's a country imperative and there's a business imperative, there's a telco imperative, and at an individual level, everybody who wants to continue to remain relevant in their jobs, they have to start embracing and utilizing the tools that AI provides. So I frequently get asked this question, will AI replace our jobs? I don't think AI will replace your job, but AI will replace a person who doesn't know how to use AI effectively. So it's like any other tool, you have to learn how to use it and be relevant and comfortable with it. At an organizational level, many companies are using tools, whether it's Copilot integrated into your Outlook, or using ChatGPT or anything else from customer services, Agentex. So companies are doing that. But I think the bigger challenge for us is at a country level. Do we have a local language LLM? And in that context, JAS, along with NUST, which is a leading university in Pakistan and the Ministry of IT, we thought about developing a large local LLM. And we have, it's been a journey because a lot of data doesn't exist. We have to build the data lake before an Urdu language. And we have been able, over the last 6 months, been able to ingest more than 650,000 documents, government documents, translated more than about 1.8 billion words, and more than 500,000 documents. Now, these things develop a lake on which you start training this thing. And this is not something where JAS has to say, well, we did it. This is something that the nation needs to own. We want AI to be relevant in the actually provide the farmer with some local information, a farmer in Punjab. It has to be locally relevant else in the world, or a teacher. They have to.
We would talk about, not just the issues with the industry, but something else that's going on. So AI and its application in our enterprise, that's the direction which we have taken. So Amir talked about the big picture, the LLM. What we've done is already started bringing in AI tools. For example, the IT infrastructure maintenance that we are doing. So we have the AI-based service operations already is supporting with a lot of the kind of IT outages and stuff that you deal with. Similarly, we've also deployed quite an advanced management solution, which is helping us design the various, because if you look at Pakistan's geography, it's a north-south, cannot have the same kind of efficiency from your solar infrastructure as it happens in the north of the country as it goes down towards the south. So we being having the highest number of towers on solar energy, we felt like we can increase the efficiency there. So this is helping us get more from those. Similarly, we've started working, we have this Kushal Watan M-Agri application, which is based on IVR and also on USSD for farmers as Amir talked about relaying weather information, some crop information. So we've started converting the back end of it based on AI conversational model, so that from a SMS-based or a person-based IVR, it begins to have a more Gen AI perspective, and it starts talking to the customers and understanding what they are asking for. So there is quite a lot of enterprise-based applications. Incidentally, we are holding an AI hackathon next month, which is part of Telenor's global AI hackathon. So it will happen in parallel in all 13 countries. So there is quite a lot of interest from the innovation community here to participate in that.
No, fantastic, incredible. It looks like we're moving along very well when it comes to AI, but challenges to go. Of course, we can't finish this conversation without asking Sajjad, talent. There's a lot of talk around how AI might replace coders or people in the IT. But I mean, you did point out actually the people at risk are the people who don't know how to use AI.
So AI is, it's not the future, it's present, right? And as far as our tech companies are concerned, if we don't start providing AI solutions, or if we don't incorporate AI in our own business, in software development, we won't exist, right? Within our own businesses and in software development practices, we expect a 30% increase in productivity by using various AI tools, and a number of Pakistani companies are using it. In terms of our customers, almost all of our major companies now have AI divisions. As an organization, Pasha, for the first time, we set up an AI subcommittee, which focuses just on ensuring how to develop AI market for our companies. And in terms of our solutions, you'll be surprised, there are some extremely phenomenal solutions that are being developed right out of Pakistan. For instance, there's a Pakistani company which right now has a model to replace call center agents, and it speaks Balochi, Barohi, Sindhi, Punjabi, Urdu, Arabic, English, and all that. So, and we are doing a project, there's a project out there where we intend to replace 300 call center agents with AI agents. There's, again, in health tech areas, there's a lot of work that is being done. We believe that in providing citizen services, once we get the government data from Department of Statistics, it will, for the first time, government will be able to formulate policies on objective data, so there will be data-driven decisions as opposed to decisions based on other social, political, whatever factors. Skills is, there's a big dearth. Having said that, I am happy to say, and really grateful to the government for starting a program with Stanford University, where they're going to train first the teachers and about 1,500 people, PhD candidates, on AI. It's a program being run by Stanford University in Pakistan. So we believe with that the revolution will start, because you need to first train teachers where the number can go up. So right now we are producing about 5,000 people who are experts in AI. Overall in IT there's over 30,000-40,000 people, kids being produced every year, but in AI alone about 3,000 to 5,000, which is a decent number. But we need to grow by leaps and bounds, and the current program that has recently been launched, we believe it's going to be a flagship event. In terms of technology companies, about 20 of them are getting together. We did a similar program a few years ago. We trained 4,000 kids in application development. This year, we are about 16 of these companies are getting, 20 of these companies, our companies are getting together, forming a consortium, and we plan to train about 6,000 people in AI alone. So this is how we are going to supplement the market.
I think from our panel, it's clear that you guys are committed to Pakistan, committed to the journey, committed to the vision, particularly Pakistan. We're out of time, so I'm going to give each of you a sound bite. What's the wish? In 12 months' time, when you sit back on this stage next year, what is your vision, the milestone you'd like to be talking about?
I think, picking up on the last AI comment, I think we would have made meaningful progress in having a local LLM, which is functional, usable in the context and language that people in Pakistan can avail. Also, when I talk about policy interventions, it's not that you always need new policies. There is the need to get rid of all the roadblocks that already exist. So I'm not going to say or sound like a broken record on things that we've
the right direction. So that's very important. What needs to be done is to take more of a value chain approach to this dialogue so that it's not just the outcome of the digital nation, but also the pieces that go in constructing that digital nation. So I think that's something that should be.
I'd like to thank my panel. I'd like the audience to thank my panel. So I think we've had some great inspiring words. We've noted down the targets for next year. Getting spectrum, getting the infrastructure around, IT exports, and bring it all together so we have all the ingredients for a strong digital nation. So I'd like to thank the panel and very much for your panel. I get to invite our last speaker for the morning before a coffee break, and with that, it's a great pleasure to introduce the chairman of Pakistan Telecom Authority, a very good friend, inviting Spanish State Chairman, Pakistan Telecom Authority, Honourable Rahman. Thank you. Hey? No. We've got lots to hear from you today. Lots of applause required.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The GSMA team, Julian, Janet, maybe Kelvin, Sarah, and other colleagues from GSMA, the honorable members from the cabinet, the honorable members from the government, from the industry, from different academia and media, and everybody, Assalamu alaikum, very good morning. So I think if you ask me, what should I say? So I think everything has been covered by Julian and this panel. But I'll just focus on three subjects. First is, we do talk of the very robust and resilient digital highways. The second maybe is the inclusive access, availability to all. And maybe the third, which may not be directly my domain, it is the trust-based governance. But before that, I think, thank you GSMA for, uniting all of us under one roof to discuss a very critical subject, that is the Digital National Summit. And I think one of the motto probably the GSMA would be to unite the telecom industry of the world and share the best practices. I think that's what GSMA is supposed to do, and that's why today we are here. Probably they will share some good experiences of the world with us, how and what we can learn from them. I'll talk a bit about PTA. So I would say PTA is no more a regulatory enforcement body. Our mandate is now beyond just enforcing the regulation. And that is, we should be one of the enabler and facilitator for the digital transformation. And that's why what I believe the day I joined PTA, even today I don't know what we are doing practically, but so the first, I think, interaction in PTA with the staff, what I told them, and they will recall that we are a facilitator, we are not a regulator. So let's facilitate each other, the industry, the government. So I would call it we are a balancer between the government, the telecom industry, and the consumer as well, which is a very important factor for us. Why? Because once I receive a call from Aminul Haq Saab, so my worry is he must be asking there is no internet or there is no call in Karachi or anywhere. Once I receive a call from any Pakistani, so my worry is he must be asking about the better connectivity in Pakistan. So we are balancing to ensuring that consumer rights are protected, ensuring that we enforce the regulation